Breaking news. Welcome to OI Charts Market Brief. Here are today's top market-moving stories. First news. Narayana Hrudaya Laya shares jumped more than 7% after strong second-quarter results. Net profit surged 29.6% year-on-year to rupees 258 crore. Revenue grew over 20% to rupees 1,643.8 crore. Second news. Adani Enterprises has fixed the record date for its massive rupees 24,930 crore rights issue. Shareholders will get 3 shares for every 25 held, priced at rupees 1,800 per share. Third news. Public sector bank stocks rallied up to 4% after reports suggested a major merger plan, consolidating 12 state-owned banks into 6 to 7 large entities by next year. Fourth news. Tata Steel is set to expand its production capacity by 7 to 7.5 million tons through brownfield projects across India. Fifth news. Mahindra and Manulife have launched a $400 million life insurance joint venture aimed at expanding services in India's rural markets. Each company will invest $140 million over 5 years, pending regulatory approval. Sixth news. Tata Motors stock slipped nearly 5% after weak second-quarter numbers. Consolidated revenue fell 13.5% year-on-year to rupees 72,349 crore, mainly due to a slowdown at Jaguar Land Rover. Seventh news. Apollo Microsystems has acquired 100% of IDL explosives, boosting its defense manufacturing capabilities. Eighth news. Torrent Pharmaceuticals has announced a rupees 6,842.8 crore open offer to acquire 26% of JB Chemicals and Pharmaceuticals. Ninth news. Block deals worth nearly rupees 6,800 crore are expected today, especially in Mphasis and Paytm. 10th news. WPIL Limited has secured a major contract worth rupees 4.26 billion, strengthening its order book and market position. 11th news. India has signed its first long-term contract to import 2.2 million tons of LNG from the United States starting 2026. This raises U.S. imports to nearly 10% of India's total LNG basket. 12th news. KPI. Green Energy has received a rupees 696.5 crore contract from SJVN for a 200-megawatt solar project. 13th news. IdeaForge shares surged 10% after securing rupees 107 crore in defense orders, including a major contract for tactical UAVs. 14th news. Global crude oil prices have dropped to $63.75 per barrel, down roughly 1% as Russian shipments resume. 15th news. Reliance is diving into the pet food market with its new brand, Waggies. They're pricing it 20 to 50% lower than competitors, which could spark a price war. 16th news. In global energy news, sanctions on Russian gas are shaking things up. The U.S. is set to double its LNG export capacity by 2030, leading to more volatility in the market. 17th news. JSW Paints just raised a whopping 3,300 crore through non-convertible debentures, drawing strong interest from major banks. That's a big win for them. 18th news. Russian oil prices have dropped to $36.61 per barrel as India and China cut back on imports ahead of the November sanctions deadline. 19th news. NBCC has secured a 498.3 crore order from Damodar Valley Corporation, boosting its shares nearly 2.4% on the BSE. Great news for investors. 20th news. Elevation Capital is looking to sell shares worth 1,640 crore in 197 Communications, offering a 4% discount. This comes as Paytm reports a massive 83% drop in net profit for Q2 FY26. 21st news. BC Investments plans to sell up to 2% of MCure Pharmaceuticals in a block deal valued at 493 crore with a 7% discount. A 90-day lock-in is also in place for the sold shares. 22nd news. Siemens India shares jumped 5% after reporting a net profit of 484.9 crore, despite a year-on-year drop. Revenue, however, is up 16%. 23rd news. The banking sector is showing strong growth with 11% year-on-year and 4% quarter-on-quarter credit growth in Q2 FY26. Public sector banks are leading the charge. 24th news. Force Motors is gearing up to invest 2,000 crore over the next 3 years to expand into global markets and the defense sector. Exciting times ahead. 25th news. The Reserve Bank of India is proposing a 10% cap on acquisition financing for banks, requiring firms to contribute 30% equity. This could change the game. 26th news. NTPC Renewable Energy has received an extension until January 31st, 2026 for its 1,255 megawatt Kavda solar project. More time to shine. 27th news. JSW Infrastructure shares rose 3% after announcing a 3,716 crore acquisition in Oman. A strategic move. 28th news. S&P has upgraded Bharti Airtel's credit rating from BBB- to BBB, reflecting improved earnings growth expectations. A positive outlook for the telecom giant. 29th news. EPL Limited posted strong second quarter numbers with 11% revenue growth. The company also saw a 19.9% rise in profit after tax. This comes as the company undergoes leadership transitions. 30th news. The Reserve Bank of India's share in government securities has increased to 14.2%. The government will continue borrowing rupees 1 lakh crore every month until February 2026. This will help keep bond yields steady. 31st news. Power Grid Corporation plans to raise up to rupees 3,800 crore through bonds. This includes a base size of rupees 1,000 crore. There is also a greenshoe option of rupees 2,800 crore. 32nd news. TCS is under scrutiny over alleged unlawful termination of 2,500 employees. This has triggered compliance concerns under labor regulations. 33rd news. Fitch Ratings expects Indian oil marketing companies to maintain stable margins. This is despite fresh United States sanctions on Russian crude. 34th news. Unifin's Capital has announced a 4-for-1 bonus issue. This amounts to 3,54,14,468 shares valued at rupees 35.41 crore. Meanwhile, GRM Overseas has declared a 2-for-1 bonus, enhancing shareholder value. That's all for today's market brief. Stay tuned for more updates with OI Charts.